We are going to take a few minutes to review a food label, specifically focusing on carbohydrates. With carbohydrate-rich foods, with any foods, we really want to eat foods without a label first and foremost. Things that are fresh, whole foods are going to be our best choices. But of course, some food is going to be minimally processed. We're going to have a food label, and we want to understand how to do that well, how to read the information that it's telling us, and get the most out of nutrition. So let's start on the top right corner, the comparison of two different cereals. Just an overview of the food label and the nutrition facts panel. The first thing it tells you is the serving size. So comparing serving size, these are two cereals that are different serving sizes. So of course, right off the bat, we can see that there is going to be some discrepancies in comparing label to label, but it's not too much, 3/4 to a cup. So it'll give us still an idea. The next thing that we might look at is calories, calories based on serving size, so people have a good idea of how this fits into their overall quantity that they want to be consuming in their diet. And then we're going to jump down to the carbohydrates. In future weeks, we'll look at these other details, but I want to just focus on carbohydrates today. So you'll see from these two labels, there's total carbohydrate 23 grams versus 25 grams. That is all the carbohydrate that is in the food, whether they're complex carbohydrates or whether they're simple carbohydrates. That is the total. Then we compare fiber. Fiber is really important in our diet because it helps digestive health. It helps food move through the digestive tract, which is good for us and keeps the colon healthy. And also, dietary fiber helps to keep us feeling full. So when people are particularly struggling to lose weight, it's a really helpful way to reduce intake by choosing foods that are rich in fiber. So you'll see a pretty significant difference in these two labels, 5 grams versus less than 1 gram. And I aim for 3 to 5 grams per serving for something like a cereal. So this is a really good choice. Then we can compare the sugar content, 5 grams versus 13 grams. And of course, we would want to have less of the sugar. The sugars here are added sugars, so it isn't necessarily naturally occurring sugar that you might find in fruit, for example. In a grain, it's going to be coming from added sugars. The other comparison you might look at on the left-hand cereal label is the 5 grams of fiber and 5 grams of sugar. That's a really nice thing to aim for as well. Is there a similarity between those? Versus the other label is less than 1 gram of fiber and 13 grams of sugar. So definitely of the carbohydrates that are in this food, we're having a much higher content of sugar. As we move down, yogurt is a carbohydrate food that definitely varies tremendously in the quality and what you'll find at the store. Things that I think are also really important to look at, in addition to the nutrition facts panel, are the ingredient list. I actually think that's the most important thing to look at, but we need the nutrient facts panel gives us some good information as well. You'll see the ingredients in these two products. You'll see the Siggi's yogurt on the bottom. We simply have milk, berries, some sugar, fruit pectin to keep it thicker, and then the live active cultures, which is the good bacteria. One of the good reasons, important reasons to eat yogurt. The Yoplait Light, in comparison, starts out with milk and strawberries, but we have cornstarch, which isn't inherently a problem, but a lot of people, we have so much corn in our diet that I find a lot of people are a little more reactive to that. Also has some sugar. Then a number of other things. Aspartame, which is a sweetener. Acesulfame is a sweetener. Some other components for freshness, as well as food dye red number 40 and natural flavor, which we don't really know what that means. So there are a number of things on this product. Significant difference in the quality in food that you're getting. Siggi's real whole food, Yoplait Light, and again, this is a light product, so they're trying to reduce the sugar, so it's actually going to have less sugar than the Siggi's brand, but you're getting a lot of sweetness coming from artificial sweeteners, which is not a healthier choice by any means. So being able to compare the ingredients is another important component of looking at the label. Then on the left, comparing two different bread products, we have a refined wheat bread on the top and a whole wheat bread on the bottom. So you'll see the first ingredient, whole wheat flour on the bottom. That's what we're looking for. We want that word whole. And on the top, we have enriched unbleached flour. So that's taking a whole wheat and it's removing the outer layers where we get the fiber and the vitamins and minerals. And then it's re-enriching it with, as you'll go down the list, you'll see iron and thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid. So it's enriching some of those nutrients, but we're certainly still losing a lot of nutrients that we aren't enriching. So that doesn't make it, comparable. You can kind of go down the list and see some of those other ones. The Rudi's on the bottom. It is all organic, which is a topic for another conversation. I mean, that's a choice if we choose to do that. But I can read all the ingredients. It has wheat bran and yeast, oil, salt, vinegar, things that are a little more naturally occurring if I was going to bake bread myself, that would look closer to that. On the top, we have some things like dough conditioners. We have a preservative. We have soybean oil, which is a little more inflammatory. Um, and we have the vitamins and minerals that are added as well. Then when we look at the nutrition, you can see the calorie difference, 100 versus 80. So a little more calories in the whole grain. And you can compare some of those other nutrients. We have 17 grams of carbs versus 18, very similar. 3 grams of fiber versus 1, and 2 grams of sugar versus 1. So, the sugar content is about the same, protein's about the same, carbs about the same, but that fiber is a fair amount different, and we have more simple ingredients that we can have a better understanding of what it is that we're eating. So those are some main things I want you to be thinking about, particularly when we're looking at carbohydrates and the food label for carbohydrates. And we'll continue to expand on the label and understand each of those others as well.